Playhouse. Tonight's play, Here's Father, by Robert Allen Arthur.
Usually I find this moment, the moment of granting separation decrees, quite painful. The implications of tearing a family asunder, even by due process of law, is anathema to me. Until the last moment possible, I hope that by rational considerations between the parties involved, the disaster can be avoided. However, in all my years on the bench, I have never dealt with a case quite like this one. Never have I heard a case where the father was so completely devoid of anything resembling human feelings toward his wife and child as you, Mr. Lockridge. Oh, never mind your total lack of responsibility. I might be able to understand that. But to be so inhuman as to feel no emotional bond, to have absolutely no affection for your family. Oh, you, sir, are a monster. And on top of that, you're a bounder. Decree of separation granted in favor of the plaintiff, Mrs. Lockridge. Custody of the child granted to the mother 51 weeks of the year. The remaining week to be spent with the father. I'm not supposed to grant that 1 week, but it's a wise child who knows his own father, and this child should get to know you, Mr. Lockridge. Know you for what you are. So for 7 days each year, and if he gives you any trouble, case closed. And never let me see you in here again. Mr. Lockridge, are you at least going to say goodbye to your son?
Oh, Donald, the son, are you going to say goodbye to Papa? Goodbye, old man. No ill feelings on my part.
No. Dread cast upon the waters, Mr. Lockridge. And between you and me, Mr. Lockridge, may I add a New Year's wish? My wish is that the next review you write, direct, and produce in the coming year of 1953 is a resounding flop.
Say is, I never saw 51 weeks go quite so fast. I can't believe it's been almost a year since the decree of separation was awarded.
Are you sure that's all you can say, Olive?
No. I might add that for the week I'm about to spend, I deserve the governess's Medal of Honor for governessing above and beyond the normal call of duty.
I'm sure it won't be that bad. You always look on the gloomy side anyway, Olive.
Mrs. Lockridge, in this case, I am perfectly justified. I hate that man. Why, last week I went to his new show and paid $6.60 for the third-row orchestra for the sole purpose of hissing.
I went for the same reason, but it was so good, I had to applaud.
You didn't tell me you went to the show.
Well, you didn't tell me you went to the show.
Oh, Donnie?
Hi, Millie Olive. Here's the afternoon paper, Mama. It just came.
Just?
Well, I read it a little bit. The entertainment section. I figured I'd have a lot of free time this week, and I could go to a lot of movies and things.
Oh, no, I'm sure your father will have a lot of interesting things planned.
I bet he doesn't even know I'm coming.
Oh, he knows. I wrote him a note reminding him.
Well, he doesn't want me. Hey, Mama, I have an idea. Why can't Olive and I sneak off and meet you for lunch at the Modern Museum or the movies?
Say, that's a good idea.
I'd love it, darling, but you see, it really wouldn't be fair. The judge said you should spend 1 week a year with your father, and we should do it right and with no cheating.
You mean the law says I have to?
That's right.
And they say this is a democracy. I say there isn't any justice.
Oh, Donnie, we've been through all this before. Don't lose your nerve now.
Well, okay. Does the law also say if I have to be with him that I can make him do what I want?
Oh, I don't think so.
But it should.
I suppose it should, but... Donnie, be a good boy and have fun, and don't worry. You can always get me on the telephone if you need me. Goodbye, darling. And always remember that I love you. Now, have a good week.
I'll try, but it'll be a struggle. Hey, I forgot my banjo and harmonica.
Well, one good thing about this week, it'll give you a chance to get out, sticking so close to the house. You ought to get out and live it up a little.
Why, I'm doing fine. Ollie, will you do me a favor? Be nice to Mr. Lockridge. You know, this week could be quite a shock to him, you know.
My heart bleeds.
Now, Olive, you know he can't help being the way he is.
Well, I suppose not. I have to admit he's charming, attractive, murder with the women.
Yes, he's all those things.
And there's one other thing you have to admit and give him credit for.
What's that?
He's the biggest heel in 14 states. Come on, Donnie. We're off to see the wizard. I hope he's prepared.
Goodbye, darling. Be a good boy.
Goodbye, Mama.
Bye.
Now and only now can I play you the number I've written specially for you.
Sweet.
There. Now, the lights in the club go dim. The audience grows quiet. There's a fanfare, and you enter. Polite applause, you bow graciously. The lights go black. And then in a pin spot, you smile and sing softly and huskily. Melancholy, the day is ending. Melancholy, at last it's done. Smoke another cigarette to make myself try to forget. There'll be another dawn. Melancholy, the mood surrounds me. From last night's end to this night's start, I'm afraid to look ahead, for all you left me was a dead and empty heart.
I'm in tears.
I thought you would be.
This may be the greatest thing you've ever done.
Very difficult choice.
Oh, Damon, I couldn't possibly be any happier unless
Unless what?
it were a whole show for Broadway.
All in time, dear. All in good time. After all, you've already made the first step. You've got a special number written by Damon Lockridge.
Yes, I know, and I'm so grateful.
And the show will come in good time. After all, we've only known each other a little time. Think of all the great names in lights on marquees all over the world who'd give anything for a special show by Damon Lockridge. Why, only this morning, I had a cable from Bangkok. Mai Lee Bong. Do you know her?
Only by reputation.
My little oriental flower. She'd give anything to be in my next review. What a performer. The most supple neck in show business. And now?
Yes, darling.
You,
You jingled, sir.
Yes, some more champagne, please, Morris.
Yes.
And then dinner.
Dinner? Oh, Damon, I only stopped by hoping against hope you'd be in. I didn't expect dinner.
Wouldn't you like to have dinner with me?
I'd adore it, but I'm sure your cook isn't prepared for guests.
And we'll let her ad-lib a little.
Oh, Damon.
You know,
I'll get it, sir.
you may not have to wait so long for that show after all.
Sweet.
Oh, Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
They said they were expected, sir.
But this is only Tuesday.
It's Wednesday.
You may go, Morris. Thank you. Penelope, I want you to meet Miss Burns
Well, how do you do, Miss Bird?
and my son,
How do you do? Your son?
Donald.
Well. Well, I've always wanted to meet you, Donald. You too, Miss Burns, and it's been just lovely, and now I have to be running along.
Yes, but you take care of yourselves. I can explain everything. You see, he has to stay with me for a whole week.
Yes, I'm sure, I understand.
And we'll have dinner just the same.
One big, happy family group.
No, I'll brush them off, and then you change, and I'll meet you for dinner. Then we'll go to our respective shows, and we'll have supper together. Satisfactory? And
Well,
then
if
we'll
you-
talk about the new show. You know, I have 3 special spots for an Oriental French chanteuse. I was thinking of sending to Paris for Piaf, but with you in mind.
7:30. Goodbye. Oh.
And how is my little man? You've grown.
They usually do.
And Miss Burns, dear Miss Burns, I'm so sorry I haven't got a rocking chair for you. You'd look so well cast as Whistler's mother. Oh, he laughs. It must be a good line.
I heard it before on the Mr. Peepers show.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know who your Mr. Peepers is, but I'm sure it was quite an original line with me.
Well, he's a school teacher in a place
Donnie, perhaps I'd better go upstairs and unpack.
Morris has sent your bags upstairs. You'll find your rooms on the 2nd floor. Yours is marked with a skull and crossbones.
Oh, you didn't have to give up your room for me, Mr. Lockridge.
I'd better come too, Ollie.
No, Donnie. The law says you have to spend a week with him, and there's no dodging it. But if he tries to beat you, just scream.
Would you like some champagne, some ginger ale?
No thanks, Papa.
Well, and how is Hope, your mother?
She's fine. She gets more beautiful every day.
She always was a lovely woman.
Mama told me to say when I saw you that I'm sorry I kicked you the last time I saw you.
I accept your apology, in spite of a permanent bone bruise.
Actually, I'm not really sorry. Only she told me I should say it.
Oh.
Papa, who is that blonde lady?
That blonde was Miss Penelope Martin. She's a famous nightclub singer.
Well, what do you have to do with her, besides kissing her?
Well, I like her. And besides, I write special material for her.
What's that?
Well, I write special songs for an artist, usually a star.
Like Milton Berle.
Please, Donald.
Don't you write for television? Then you can't be very good.
Have you ever heard of Noel Coward?
Sure, he's famous.
Well, between you and me and a few other friends, Noel Coward is known as the road company Damon Lockridge.
I don't believe it.
What?
Play something on the piano and prove it.
Well, I don't play for just anybody.
The law says you have to do anything I ask during our week together.
Let me see that.
No.
Well, come on, darling, now. I'm your papa.
No, I won't let you see
But
that.
listen here, I must see it.
No, Mama says I should guard this paper with my life.
Oh. Oh, well, if the law says so.
Something funny. I want to laugh.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be very funny, but let's have a go, shall we? You're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me, the two of us are one. When you take too much exercise, I start losing weight. And when you take your vitamins, why, Donnie, I feel great, 'cause you're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me, the two of us are one. What a way to go, Daffy, what a way to be, we're both of us happy. It seems we must be a split personality, 'cause you're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me, the two of us are one. Yes, the two of us are one. Well, what do you think of that?
You do better when you steal from Mr. Peepers.
I do not steal from Mr. Peepers. Now, Morris will bring you and Miss Burns your dinner here. I'm going to change.
Are you going out, Papa?
Yes?
Papa?
Hmm?
Nothing. Question.
Of course, dear. Say, where did you pack your socks?
In that little pocket there.
Oh, I see. Now, what's your question?
Why did you say my father was the biggest heel in 14 states?
Did I say that?
To Mama.
Well, isn't he?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, dear, but then I've only been in 14 states.
Why don't you like my father?
Oh, now, Donnie, we've been all through this. It's not a question of not liking him. I just don't admire him for leaving you and your mother alone all those years.
But Mama says it was because he was in the show business and he had to travel all over the world.
Well, other people in show business manage to have families. He just never took the trouble to get to know his son. And such a nice son, too. Oh, he didn't come to see us from one year to the next. And when he did, he acted as though you completely terrified him.
Fathers shouldn't be afraid of their sons, should they?
Well, most fathers aren't, Donnie.
I wish I could tell him not to be scared.
I don't think it would do any good, dear.
I wish we didn't have to eat alone either.
Say, why don't you tell him he has to eat with you?
No, that's something he should want to do by himself. Besides, he'd probably rather eat with Miss Martin.
Well, never mind, dear. Next week we'll be home and everything will be back to normal.
You're right. You know something, Olive?
What?
I don't think I like him either. I think he's the biggest heel in 14 states.
Eavesdropper.
Everybody up for the 5-mile hike. Come on, everybody up.
Help!
On your feet, men. Time for roll call on the 5-mile hike.
Donald, what are you doing? Donald, go away.
It's time to rise and shine.
Donald, go away. I'll call the police.
What are you doing to that poor child?
What am I doing?
Donnie, did you waken your father at this dreadful hour of the morning?
But it's time Olive?
Miss Burns, would you take this child away, please?
Don't you want to be a young woodsman?
No, I don't even want to be an old woodsman. Miss Burns, take him back, please. He'll stunt his growth getting up so early in the morning.
I'll do no such thing.
What?
Donnie, show him paragraph 7.
I've read it. It's inhuman.
No, that was paragraph 5. It says you have to do what I ask. Paragraph 7 says you can get 10 years for not complying with paragraph 5.
Show me that thing. Look here, you two. You two 6 in the morning maniacs think by any stretch of your twisted imagination you can force me to get up and go and on a 5-mile trek. You'll wait for me downstairs. And Miss Burns, can the condemned man have a cup of coffee, please?
Black. Oh, good afternoon, Morris. Is Mr. Lockridge in?
Good afternoon, Miss Martin. No, he isn't.
Well, I just happened to be passing by, and,
I don't expect
see, we
him
were
until-
supposed to have luncheon together, but when he didn't show up or call up, I
Well, see, the matter
thought
of
maybe he
fact
might
is
be ill. But you say he isn't in?
No, ma'am.
Well, then I'll just wait, if you don't mind.
Hurry up, because we have to go to the zoo and then the museum and then the planet.
Damon!
Whiskey.
Yes, sir. I'll get it right away.
Darling, darling, sit down. Sit down. Are you all right? Why the alpine attire? Have you been climbing?
The Palisades and hiking. You know, he promised me it'd be only 5 miles. He knew it'd be 10. Do you know something, Penelope?
What, darling?
I've sired a liar.
Not a young woodsman, Damon. Young woodsmen don't lie.
I'll have him brought up on charges.
Perhaps he's inherited a little bit too much of his father.
Oh, what a terrible idea. Oh, what a frightful idea.
Well, never mind all that. I have the most exciting news.
Oh, what is it?
This morning, well, I was going to tell you about it at luncheon, but when you stood me up.
My most abject apologies, Penelope, darling, but you know, at the time that I was supposed to pick you up, I was in the wilds of New Jersey on my hands and knees looking for dinosaur paw prints.
Wait till I tell Leonard Lyons about this.
Don't tell him anything. He'll kill your punchline. What are you going to tell me?
This morning, at the beastly hour of 11, came a call that will liberate me for the winter, and you too, if you'll do it.
What's that?
6 weeks in Nassau, playing private lives, you and I.
Oh, no, I couldn't leave.
Oh, Damon, please, it's my one chance to get legitimate. And besides, they say it's the most terribly exciting theatrical season down there, and think of it, 6 weeks in Nassau.
No, I couldn't leave the show. I'm
Oh,
I'm you
darling,
when I'm writing.
you and I.
Yes, but aren't you being a little bit premature?
But think of all the things you could teach me.
Your
Yes, sir.
drink, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Damon, think of the experience
Yes.
I get.
Penelope, darling, I think you've had enough experience. What in heaven's name is this?
I'm altered.
A malted?
It's good for you.
Morris?
He won't come back. I showed him both paragraph 5 and 7.
What an amusing child he is. He is amusing, Damon, and so bright.
Thank you. Will you have a malted?
No, no, thank you very much, darling. I never touch it before sundown. But you get your father to drink his. This could be another item for Leonard Lyons.
You're making fun of me, aren't you?
Oh, don't be silly. You're very sweet. If I like children, I'd adore you. I'll call you later, Damon.
Right.
And, think about Nassau, will you?
I'll think about it, darling.
You know, darling, he really is a riot. You should bring him to Sardi someday for lunch. Or better still, cocktails. We could all have a malted on the rocks.
She's very nice, I guess.
Yes, I guess she is.
You don't really have to drink your malted if you don't want to.
You know, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
The more you have, the more you like them.
Sort of an acquired taste, eh?
That's right. You know something, Papa?
What?
Mama told me if I got into any trouble with you that I should call her. I almost called her last night.
But you didn't.
No, I figured I'd give you one more chance.
Can you call her now?
No. You did pretty well this morning.
Thank you.
And now, if we go to the zoo and the museum and the planetarium, we can...
Why don't you go upstairs and lie down for a while?
I'd love to, but paragraph 7.
I'll take care of paragraph 7.
Oh, Olive.
Oh, now listen, Donnie. Let your father lie down. You can't kill the golden goose, you know. You and I'll get dressed and go out later, hmm?
Will that be all right, Donald?
I guess so. You look tired.
Thank you. And thank you, too.
I'm also kind to human beings. All right, Donnie. Come on, change your clothes and we can go.
Would you mind if we didn't, Olive?
Why?
Well, maybe he'll get tired of resting and want to come downstairs again.
Oh. Well, all right. I'll be in the kitchen if you want me.
Hello? Hello? Hello, is anyone there?
Don't stop. Go on. Go on. Keep on playing. You're doing beautifully. How many times have you heard that song, Donnie?
Just once. You played it for me yesterday. Mama says I have a good ear. She says I get it from you.
Try again.
Well, okay.
Try it with me. You're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me. The two of us are one. You try it.
You're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me, the two of us are one.
Now we'll do it again, and I'll sing the first word, and you sing the second. I'll sing the third. Understand? Like this. 'Cause you're
So
much
a
part
of
me,
a
part
of
me,
a
part
of
me,
so
deep
with
in
the
heart
of
me.
the
Two of us are one. Yes, the two of us are one. Good. You know, I think that if we had enough practice, we'd make a very good act, don't you? Can't you see it? Lockridge and Lockridge.
And we could go around the theaters and the movies and on stage, and we'd make $1 million. And I could tell all the kids at school I really have a father.
Donnie, you do really have a father, you know.
I guess I do.
Donnie, your dinner's ready. You're going out, aren't you?
Yes.
Good night, Papa.
Good night. Penelope? No, I haven't made up my mind about Nassau. No. Look here. Don't be upset. You wear your sables. We'll knock them cold at the colony tonight.
Mr. Lockridge, are you in there?
Yes, I'm dressing, Miss Burns.
Oh, could you do me a favor?
I can't hear.
I said, could you do me a favor?
What is it?
Will you come in and say goodnight to him before you leave? I said, would you come in?
I heard. I'll come in.
Hey, what kind of a house is this with no television set?
Well, it's too late for you to be watching television anyway. Now, into bed with you.
It's Saturday night, isn't it? Mama lets me watch Jackie Gleason.
Well, I can't possibly imagine why. Come on, into bed.
Come in. Hi, Papa. Did you change your mind about going out?
No, I'm just coming to say goodnight to you.
I'll say goodnight first. Good night, dear.
Good night, Olive.
Well, good night.
No. Papa, tell me a story. I want a story.
But I get a fortune for telling people stories. I mean, kings and queens ask me to tell them stories. And, what's that you got? This. That's what you were looking for. What sort of a story?
I want something bloody with murder in it and monsters, like you see on television.
Well, I don't often go to television, but supposing I tell you the story of when I first left Australia about 20 years ago in a great big ship, and within 12 months I was the bright, shining light on Broadway, eh?
Oh, Mama told me that story 50 times.
She did?
When I was a little kid, I liked it, but it bores me now.
I see. Well, what about a fairy story? I mean, like Cinderella?
That bores me, too.
Well, perhaps I could jazz it up a bit for you.
Well, if it's the only story you know.
Well, there was once a very ugly girl called Cinderella.
Cinderella was beautiful.
I'm telling the story, Donald. And she had two gorgeous stepsisters and a gorgeous stepmother. And they lived in a Park Avenue apartment, so they're rather like the Gabors. And then everything was hotsy-totsy, except poor old Cinderella, who was just a drag. Well, one day there was a sort of fairy godfather came along called Dr. Evans. He was a graduate psychoanalyst. And he said to Cinderella, Cinderella, why do you always look so unhappy? And she said, well, Dr. Evans, you see, the main trouble is that I suffer from an inferiority complex, complicated by the fact that every time I go to shop in Saks Fifth Avenue, they send me down to the 5 and 10. So he said, well, the trouble with you, Cinderella, is that you really are inferior. However, lie down on this glass couch, and I'll go over your problem. And with one swish, he just pitched her and the glass couch right into the center of the pumpkin-picking ball. And, well, they don't usually go to sleep on me. Finish it tomorrow night, I suppose.
cigarette to make myself try to forget la vie un autre dame. Melancholy it surrounds me from last night and to this night down. I'm afraid to look ahead, for all he left me was dead and empty.
Thank you, Miss Cinderella Penelope Martin. Wasn't that just terrible? Wasn't it the most awful thing you ever heard? And now let me tell you something funny that happened to me when I came here to America. Crossing the ocean right in the center of the Atlantic was a theater marquee, and on it was a little kangaroo who turned out to be my son. My son, Donny Lockridge, the brightest new light on Broadway. And now I ask you, please, 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 on my bended knee, to just do one number with this poor old father before he goes to the poor house of broken dreams for all the broken hearts on Broadway. Announcing Lockridge and Lockridge. Hit it, Professor. Donny, wake up, Donny, wake up.
Papa, don't go away. Don't leave
No,
me.
I promise I won't leave you.
Promise, promise.
I promise, dear boy, I won't, I promise. Yes, by gosh, I promise. That's all right. Donny, you're awake now. It's all right. Everybody up at the 5 Mile High. Come on, everybody up.
Go away. I'll call the police. It's too early. It's inhuman.
Come on, time to get up. I bought you breakfast.
What are we going to do today?
Oh, well, we'll think out something.
Hey, what's going on? Johnny, I thought I told you to let your poor father sleep
He woke me up.
at this miserable hour.
Miss Burns, will you go back to bed, please, straight away? Unless you'd like to come with us on the 5 Mile Hike.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Do you have the strength?
No. But they tell me that the reaction to the physical effort is all in the plane of the psychosomatic.
What's that mean?
I haven't the vaguest idea, but I think it means that I won't get tired.
Want to bet I can make you?
No, and don't you pull paragraphs 5 and 7 on me, please, Donald.
You read it, huh?
Only because you left it around.
Well, I collect them. Railroad timetables, I mean. And ship and plane schedules.
Oh, it's a funny thing to collect.
Well, I have a reason. When I grow big and travel around a lot like you do, I'll know when everything leaves is and where it all goes to. That's so I won't get lost.
Donald, are you afraid of getting lost?
Not afraid. Just scared.
Just scared. Is that why you had dreams like you had last night?
Dreams don't have anything to do with anything.
You'll see that when you're not any longer afraid of being lost, the dreams do have something to do with it, because then you won't dream those dreams.
How will that happen?
Oh, we'll arrange it somehow,
Today?
if you like.
At the zoo and the museum and the planetarium?
Anything you say.
And then?
Well, then we'll ad-lib a little, shall we? Come on, drink your milk.
Never touch it before sundown. Hey, Papa.
Yes?
I don't really think you steal from Mr. Peepers.
Thank you very much, Donald.
Are they home yet?
Good afternoon, Miss Martin. Yes, ma'am, about a half hour ago.
Yes. Will you just kindly tell Mr. Lockridge that I'm here, please?
Well, they're having lunch now, and I think they're planning to go right out again. Yes, ma'am, I'll call him.
May y li bon.
You ever eat peanut butter?
Now, look here, Damon Lockridge, I want to What?
I said you ever eat peanut butter?
Yes, I used to when I was a little girl, but that has nothing to do with the fact that you stood me up again last night.
Well, to start with, I don't think you ever were a little girl. And in second place, I explained everything to your telephone answering service this morning. Come and have some peanut butter with us.
No, thank you.
You're acting very feminine all of a sudden, and there's a certain wronged look about you that I haven't seen before. You know, Parisian chanteurs should always look tragic, but never wrong.
Oh, Damon. What's happening to us? Our relationship used to be so warm, so understanding, and now a little stranger has come between us.
Well, I happen to be father to that little stranger.
In name only. Now, listen, Damon, look. Please, just listen to me. If you don't want to go to Nassau, that's all right with me. I won't go to Nassau either. It won't destroy me, and besides, I have such faith in you, and I know you'll help my career in other ways.
You know, perhaps I should go to Nassau after all.
Oh,
There's a little
Damon.
cluster of cottages on the beach in Donny, and I could live in one, and I could show him how wonderful I am by taking him out and teaching him sailing.
You take Donald?
Mind you, be cheating a little bit, because sailing, you see, is the only outdoor sport that I really do very well. As a matter of fact, you see, my father taught me sailing when I was a little kid in Australia. You know, there's something rather poetic about the sails billowing in the sunset. Sort of grade B movie stuff.
You're being utterly ridiculous. You're actually taking this father role seriously.
And why not? You know, that boy gets scared and has nightmares about being lost. I've got to do something about it.
Well, I hardly see why that has anything to do with
Perhaps
my
Nassau wouldn't do after all, because then it'd be missing his schooling.
What about me?
Listen, dear. You're a very nice girl, and you have a wonderful little talent. And I'm going to develop that talent. With the aid of a director, I think you'll make it quite a big hit in the show. Now, we'll talk about this over a drink one
Now,
afternoon.
you listen to me, Damon Lockridge. If you think for 1 minute that I'm going to sit around and wait for you to call me for a drink, or if you should happen to need a babysitter, you're out of your mind.
Listen to that.
I'm not finished. It just so happens, my dear, you're not the only one in the theater with any talent, and before I'm through, I'm just liable to call Jose Farrar.
Bye. And then call me, I'll call you. Eavesdroppers.
Well, I'd heard a lot about you, and I just wanted to see how you did it.
Well,
You did it all right.
Real smooth, Papa. You know, there's a little girl in my class who's been testing me. Next time she does it, I'll say, you're a very sweet girl, Susan, and very talented. Only don't call me, I'll call you.
listen here, Donny boy. I think that we've got to come to an understanding about how much you're going to imitate me.
But first we have to go to the zoo.
And the museum. And the planetarium.
Just a moment. Oh,
Are you going to ask us in?
come in. Hi, Mama.
Hello, my darling. Well, I didn't think you'd last out the week, but neither did I think you'd give up so soon.
Well, I suppose I deserve that and more, so I better get it right over. Going to hit me?
Yes. No.
Kick me?
No.
Curse me?
No.
Wish me a happy new year?
No. And don't use the famous Lockridge charm on me, whatever your reason.
Reason? I have no reason.
I will not reduce the amount you give us as Donny's upkeep.
Perish forbid. Ready, Donny?
Ready?
Come along. Madam, you sit there. Presenting Lockridge and Lockridge. Hit it. You're so much a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me. The two of us are one, 'cause you're
So
much.
a part of me, a part of me, a part of me, so deep within the heart of me. The two of us are one.
'Cause you're
So
much
a
part of me, part me, part me, deep within the heart of me. The two of us are one. Yes, the two of us are one. Hey, Donny, I think you better go to your room.
Okay. Ad lib good, Papa.
It was pretty silly, I suppose, wasn't it? The song and costume and everything. Oh, why didn't you tell me you had nightmares?
I didn't think it was any of your business.
None of my business.
And I didn't think you'd be interested.
Oh, well, all right, I deserve that too, I suppose. But, you know, you've got to see these things before you realize how bad... We've got to do something about this, Hope.
What do you suggest?
Well, in the first place, well, I didn't get to sleep this morning before 3 o'clock. Well, come to think of it, I haven't had much sleep the last 2 nights. Oh, gosh, I'm exhausted.
You have my
I
sympathy.
mean, climbing palisades and trudging through zoos and museums and... Well, that's not the point, but at 2:45 this morning, I was thinking about the first time that I ever left you for any length of time.
That was right after Donny was born.
Yes, you know, that trip was the beginning of the whole miserable business.
You wanted to go?
I had to go to Europe to pick some new acts for the show.
What I meant was, you wanted to go alone.
Did I ever say that? Come on, think back now, Hope. Did I ever say that?
Well, no, but, well, I thought you wouldn't want to be saddled with a wife and a new baby on a trek around Europe.
You thought. And I thought that you wanted me to go alone, so I went, hating it. The next time I went, hated it a little bit less. The next time, the next time, the next time, until in the end I persuaded myself that I didn't hate it anymore. You see, you've got to build a sort of barricade against your real feelings. You've got to, I suppose.
I guess it was the same way with me. Why didn't we ever talk about it?
I thought I'd sound like Ethel's other husband in a soap opera. And the same with Donny. You see, whenever I tried to get close to him, I got embarrassed.
Well, have you got close to him now?
He's a wonderful kid. Reminds me of me when I was a child. You know, bright, intelligent, talented. He's a great kid. And he needs me.
It took you an awfully long time to find that out.
And I like to be needed. Yes, sir, I like it. Trouble is, you see, for the last 7 or 8 years, I've just had people around me who needed me for phony reasons. Mediocre talent, the whole lot of them. I mean, take this new Parisian chanteuse from Salt Lake City. Oh, she has the looks and her figure. That, like a sort of stick sort of thing. Oh, Hope, why are you trying to embarrass me?
I'm just listening, darling.
Did you do it yet, Papa?
No.
Maybe we better do another number. We sure fractured her with the first one.
That's an idea. I suppose you've forgotten all my songs.
Well, you do Tea for Two.
Now, Hope, that's not one of mine.
Well, darling, I'm sorry. It's the only thing I play.
All right, hit it. Featuring Lockridge.
Lockridge and Lockridge.
Characters portrayed were fictitious. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is coincidental. The Philco Television Playhouse is a live presentation. Clothes and Furs by Gunther Jekyll. The song You're So Much a Part of Me by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross is from John Murray Anderson's Almanac. The song Melancholie was written by Richard Blake, Pierre Dudon, and Al Roman. Next week, the Philco Television Playhouse will bring you Smokescreen.